Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back for another Top 10 Countdown. I'm the Board Game Captain.
I'm Lynn.
I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be counting down our top 10 favorite games to play with 3 or 4 players. So now, first thing I just want to address real quick is I had a lot of games to choose from, and I love every one of the games on my list. Just because it's number 10 versus number 1, there's like crazy fine line distinctions between the different numbers on my list. In fact, there is no game on my list that I rate lower than a 9. Where are you at with this?
Wow. I play a lot of 2-player games. That's really my thing. I like abstract strategy games, which usually don't lend themselves well to 3 or 4 players. But I was able to cobble together a top 10 list, and there's going to be some old favorites on there, so it's going to be good. And
how about you, Deb? What went into your making of your list?
I just made a list of games that I enjoy playing with 3 or 4 players.
How willy-nilly. So,
really taking the directions.
It's fair. It is what we said we were going to do. So, also, what is the date today?
The 7th of September.
Today is September 7th, 2017. So we, back in August now, 1 month ago, bought quite a few new games at Gen Con. We're in the middle of going through them. And I just want to make sure you know this is our favorite games as per the 7th of September 2017, because there may be games that we bought that we haven't tried yet that might wind up on our favorite list in the future. The reason they're not there now is just because we haven't played them as of this date. So let's deal out our order. So we'll see what order we're going to present in. Alex got
not be going first.
Alex got a 3. I got a 10. It's gonna be me, Lynn, Alex.
Bring up the rear.
It's an interesting order. All right. So without any further ado, let's get to the list. Number 10. So, it starts with me, and my number 10 for my favorite games to play with 3 or 4 players is Mystic Vale. Now, we first tried this over a year ago at the AEG game night, and I immediately fell in love with this game. I went and bought it the next day. It feels like a deck builder, but the ability to actually make the cards themselves, plus the press your luck element, which you do while your opponents are going, and how quick it is, and how intuitive the gameplay is. I just really, really like this game. It's tons of fun, and I wish I got a chance to get it to the table more often. But yeah, I mean, it's a really well thought out system. I really love the card crafting system. So I don't know if you guys had anything you want to comment on Mystic Vale.
I think it's a good game. I like that the turns go fast, like you said, because you're doing stuff on your opponent's turn.
Yeah,
I've never played it.
Oh, you haven't played this one yet? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll have to play it with you then. So that was my number 10, Mystic Vale.
My number 10 is Murano.
Oh, I love this game.
It sounds really boring, but it's actually really fun. You are a glassmaker in Venice, and you move your gondola around the map and try and make glass. And there's a little bit of city building in there, and
it's actually mostly city building.
Yeah, city building and like not really card collecting. You do get cards. It's difficult to explain, and it sounds kind of boring, but it's not.
It's really awesome. It's actually really... I thought the theme was so terrible that I didn't even want to try this game, and then we tried it, and I was like, I love this game. This game is tons of fun. It's only not on my list because it's actually... I think I gave this game 8 stars on Board Game Geek. I really do love this game. It just literally nothing on my list is below a 9. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but it's a good one.
For my number 10, I picked Ethnos. Ethnos is
it's set collecting,
but it's also
and area control.
Yeah,
set collecting and area control.
I like area control games generally. This one I think does a good job of the area control, and plus it's got the set collecting in it, which makes it a little more fun. You can kind of the strategy where you build on top, and you got to guess which one you're going to go for, or try to go for a property that the opponents aren't. Gives it some strategy that I enjoy. But this is my number 10. and it was hard to find a number 10. So,
because you mostly play 2-player games.
Yeah.
So now, are you kind of mediocre on this? Because you've had some big complaints about Ethnos.
I had one big complaint about Ethnos.
Okay.
Mainly the downtime is kind of the annoying part of this.
But there's no downtime?
No, when you're waiting to go,
There's no waiting to go in this. This game, it's one action per turn. The most often thing you hear about this game when the turns are going around the table is it my turn again already?
Mm-hmm. That's what I meant. Is that what I was saying?
No, I thought you were saying the opposite. I thought you were saying there were lots of downtime.
No, is that there is no downtime.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Let me correct myself. So the problem with this game is that the strategy part of it isn't you can't develop it quick enough, or you can't develop it thoroughly enough because you don't have the downtime to.
So you don't like that it's quick?
I don't like that it's so quick.
That's one of my favorite things about Ethno. Okay.
See, I like the strategy though. There's no abstract strategy in this game.
All right, that's fair.
You can't plan ahead because you're always.
But you do like the game.
I do like the game. Yeah.
You do like it.
Yeah, but I think that was my big criticism.
I was very confused by what you were saying. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I said it very clear.
Number 9. For my number 9 of my favorite games to play with 3 or 4 players, I chose Takenoko. Now, specifically, this is Takenoko with the expansion in it. This is just one of those cases where the game itself, regular Takenoko, is really good. I love, all the interesting things that happen when you do the dice rolls and all the decisions you can make for growing your bamboo and moving the panda around to have them eat certain kinds of bamboo, and the set collecting and the board manipulation. There's so much there. I mean, it looks like such a light game, but it's deceptive and there's a lot there. But then you add in the expansion, it's just that much better. It just added even more things to do, more options, and I love this game. Like, every time we play it, I have a good time. Doesn't matter if I win or lose. I really enjoy Takenoko. And plus, the pandas are adorable.
Who can argue with that?
Yeah, I enjoy playing it.
So what do you got for your number 9?
My number 9 is Jupiter Rescue. It's a cooperative game where you play robots on a spaceship, and you have to evacuate the humans who are freaking out because aliens are attacking. You have to get the humans to the escape pod. And so it's all the players against the board, and it's really hard.
Now, we just played this once so far. You took to it that much that it's already on your top 10 favorite.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you.
How many times do you need to play a game before you really like it? I mean, if I like a game, I like a game.
That's fair. I didn't realize you liked it that much that it already jumped onto your top 10 favorite 3 and 4 player games list. I'm just surprised, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
What do you got for yours?
For my number 9, 3 or 4 player game, I picked Outer Earth. I like this game. This game plays really well 2 players, but I like the versatility it has, and that the mechanics are actually really interesting.
The whole cards with the pipes
and the kind of like almost like a bidding isn't the right phrase, but you kind of like the hidden hand sort of thing.
It's kind of like an auction to decide who goes, because you have the little paddles.
Yeah,
and you decide yes or no, and then everybody reveals them, and everyone who keeps saying yes keeps going on to try to be the first player.
But it's not true auction. You're not bidding against each other. You're seeing how the other person's what their decision was before you reveal. Is essentially what it is. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and it's deck building kind of too, in a manner. They're just using the cards. It's more of a.
It's not really deck building.
No, there's more of a.
But it's a really good game. I do like Outer Earth. That's one that I wish hit the table more often, actually. But Lynn's not a fan. But I like Outer Earth. I think it's really good.
Yeah, the difference between my number 10 and my number 9 is huge.
Huge. Number 8. For my number 8, I have, I think, the only cooperative game on my list. I know, Lynn, you're a much bigger fan of co-op games than I am. But you know what? While I'm not normally a big fan of co-op games, Mysterium is an exception to that rule for me. I absolutely adore this game. I've never... Well, okay, no, I have had at least one bad game of Mysterium. I was going to say I've never had a bad game, but generally speaking, Mysterium is a fantastic game. I almost always enjoy it. We usually have a good time. There was that one game where a player who shall remain nameless gave the most insane hints. He kept hinting with animals to try to point to the kitchen, and like a spider and a bear and an owl. And I was like, and when I finally found out he was pointing to the kitchen, I'm like, how do those mean the kitchen? He goes, well, they all eat. I could have killed him. I was like, wow, that doesn't make. They don't eat in a kitchen though. So, but with other than that, usually it's very good, and I love Mysterium, and everybody always has a good time with this one. Everybody gets really into it, trying to figure out the clues. And yeah, this is a great game.
Great game.
What do you guys got? Anybody got anything to add on Mysterium?
Yeah, we'll probably be seeing it.
Oh, a little preview of coming attractions on other hats.
My number 8 is, move your hands. Roswell 51.
Manly yelp.
It's another cooperative game.
Well, this is kind of like an all versus one. Everyone's cooperative, but one person is working against them.
Yeah. There's the director, who's the director of the film, and all the other players are characters in the film who are trying to survive to the end of the horror movie.
Yes.
There's, I mean, it's just like all B-movie, like 50s B-movie mashup. There could be aliens, there could be giant ants, there could be creepy neighbors.
Which the creepy neighbors are an obvious reference to the bad guys in Plan 9 from Outer Space, actually, when you see the picture. It's,
and I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun game, and it's hard, but it's not like super hard. It's still winnable.
It is still winnable. It's, you know what? It's not bad. I don't like it as much as you do, though. Definitely not. But yeah, it's not a bad choice. Again, that goes to the fact that a lot of those big co-op things I have issues with.
I've never even seen that before. Is that brand new?
Oh, that is one of the new ones we purchased.
Oh, all right.
But we actually play tested that 2 years before they released it.
Oh,
when they were working on it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so we had played it.
The inside track. Yeah.
That's what Gen Con does for you.
Number 8 for me is King of Tokyo, just because it's so much fun. It's a party game almost more than
press
your luck, but it's 3-dimensional. You get to see everything that's going on. You get to have a lot of fun.
It's an excellent choice.
Giant dice.
Giant dice, right?
And giant dice, right. Giant monsters.
It's ridiculous and over the top and really, really fun.
It is really fun. Attacking other monsters, destroying Tokyo. I mean, what's not to like? I love kaiju. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good choice. Okay. I'm not gonna hit you for that at all.
All right.
So let's get on to our number 7. So as we work our way up the list here, my number 7 is a game that I really do adore and only doesn't make it to the table as often as I'd like because of how heavy it is and that it takes a while to set up and a while to play. But God, I love Merchant of Venus. This is actually probably currently my favorite pick up and deliver game. I love the pick up and deliver in this. I love the economical aspects in this. I'm really excited to try out a new pick up and deliver game I just got at Gen Con that there's a lot of buzz about, called Wasteland Express Delivery Service. I'm wondering if it's going to dethrone Merchant of Venus as my favorite. But right now, this is hands down my favorite pick up and deliver game. I even like it better than the Firefly game. So yeah, Merchant of Venus.
And you have like 9 versions of the Firefly game.
Well, those are all expansions.
Right. Yeah. It takes up an entire.
Well, because they didn't do all of them. If it had done that many expansions of Merchant of Venus, I would have bought all of them.
Too.
Yeah, because Merchant of Venus is that good. It is a really good game. I think it's out of print again now, which is very sad because it's a really fun one.
My number 7 is Murder of Crows.
Don't hit the table like that.
Sorry.
She was smashing your list.
Okay, hold on a second. This and the last 2 games were all brand new games that we just got at Gen Con. So, total cult of the new. You're totally obsessed with all the new games.
No, I have a lot of older games further down my list.
We'll see. You're going to have to write them in.
No. Okay, so this is a game where you're trying to spell out the word murder.
Murder.
And the first person who spells it out, there's also a little story because each card with a letter on it has a section of the story.
I actually just put up the review for this, the review and tutorial video.
And there's a little bit of, each card has a ability that may or may not affect the other players. The R is really the only card that doesn't affect the other players. And you can protect yourself in ways. You can
use hand management to defend yourself against the attacks. You know what? I like this game a lot, just not as much as you do, but I don't blame you for putting it on the list. It is actually a really fun, quick 3 and 4 player game. do enjoy it. Have you tried this one yet?
No.
Oh, you're gonna have to try it.
I get the feeling if you haven't been to Gen Con, you haven't tried any of these games.
That's why you gotta go, man. You gotta go to Gen Con.
All right, number 7 for me is Lanterns. I like it just because of how simple it is and how many ways there are to play it, and you have to really pay attention to what's going on to maintain in this game, and it takes like 5 minutes to explain it and to set it up, and then you're going, and everyone has a great time, and you're not even mad when you lose.
No, it's a great game. I agree. You like that one. In fact,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this one actually winds up on your list further on. I'm hazarding a guess.
When was it published? Not too old.
I am hazarding a guess. Number 6. So for my number 6, I have a tried and true oldie but a goodie. Maybe not that old, but 5 Tribes. Oh man, this game is so amazing. I love Bruno Catala. For this game alone, he's a genius. What he came up with in here, his method of moving around, taking the mechanic from Mancala, but putting it into a game where you could change directions, and where you land is what kind of special abilities you get to take, and then all the cool abilities you can get from Djinns you purchase. From the first time I played this game, I knew that this was one of my new favorites. I absolutely adore this game.
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
the first time we played it, I think we were only playing for like 20 minutes, and I was like, tomorrow we're going and buying this.
Yeah, you were, no, not tomorrow. We went the same day, and it was you who bought it, not me. But then I've grown to like it, I think, even better than you do. But you played this one, right? It's fantastic. I'm pretty sure you have. It's with the meeples on the board and you move them around. I'm pretty sure you have played this one.
So if it has, it's been a while.
It's been a while?
I don't recall.
Right, fair enough.
Have to get that one out again.
Right, it is a great one.
My number 6 is also a new game.
Cult of the New.
It's a really good game that you like also.
Cult of the New.
Called Oath of the Brotherhood.
You know, I'm not giving you any crap for putting this on your list, actually, because even though it is a brand new game, I did quite like it, and I understand why you put it on your list. In fact, you adore worker placement, and this is worker placement. You also adore the theme of pirates, and this is pirates. Pirate worker placement, I was immediately like, wow, Lynn's going to love this game.
If it was only Robin Hood on a pirate ship with worker placement, it would be your perfect game.
It would be her number 1 game.
Ever of all time.
Well, anyway, it is worker placement, but because you are pirates, it works a little differently. If an area has more than one placement for a meeple, if one of the other players is already there, when you go to that place, you have to fight them. So that is different from other worker placement games. But it's just a really good game, and the board, you get new areas via cards. So, I mean, you start out with like 6 or 7 areas, but then you might flip up a card that says you add the beach. So then you have an 8th area.
A new place to send workers. That is really cool. You know, no, it is a good game. You got to try it. It is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, next year I heard they're coming out with Robin Hood and the Pirates of the Waterdeep Coast, and that will be Lynn's new favorite game of all time.
Of all time. There you go. It's that simple. For my game, picked another new one. This is, I think you guys just got this one at Gen Con.
It is a brand new one.
This is brand new. I think this is the only brand new one on my list. But Century, the Gollum edition. I know Golem. Sorry. Well,
Gollum is from Lord of the Rings. Golem is from Jewish folklore.
Jewish folklore. Right? The Golem edition. I know the captain here really likes this game as well.
Oh, I do.
We're calling it hand building.
That's what they call it. But it really feels like engine building to me.
Yeah, it's in resource management.
Yeah. Definitely.
But it's a lot of fun. All the different golems that you can build and use, and then how you can trade it in and trade in your gems for different effects and different ways of building up your resources. It's also there's no limit to what you can have in your hand, which is an interesting mechanic in a game or a hand building.
And then unlike a deck building game where you get the cards that go in your discard and you got to wait to see them again. In this, you get the card. It goes. When you get the card, it goes right in your hand. You can use it, and then after you've used your cards, you don't wait to reshuffle them into a deck. When you rest, you just pick them all up again.
And you can do that at any point, whether you have 2 cards down, 10 cards down. It
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was an interesting way of a well-used mechanic, and
that's being done
really
new.
Yeah, done really, really well. So,
and again,
good game.
But similar to one of your previous choices, Ethnos, this is another one of these newer games where they're doing those one action. And your turn is over, and the turns move really quick, and it comes back around really fast. Do you dislike that in this, though, or
no? I think it works better in this.
You think it works better in
this because this isn't an area management at all. So you're not trying to look around and plan your next move. You have all your cards in front.
So in Ethnos, it's specifically because you feel like it should be more tactical and strategic because of the area control.
Right. I want it to be more risk-like.
Okay.
In this, I don't have that problem with it at all.
Fair enough. Number 5. So here we are in the top 5, and everything in my top 5 is something I've rated 10 stars. So, Patrician. Now, Patrician for me is my all-time favorite Euro game. This is, and if you're not familiar, Euro games are games that have no violence in them, no attacking, usually have some sort of resource management or hand management or something like that. And in the case of Patrician, you are managing a hand of cards that allow you to play levels on towers in different Italian cities, and the person with the taller towers in those cities get the most points. You get the higher points for those cities, and you're just trying to. It's kind of like you're just trying to earn the best points. But also, in addition, the cards have portraits on them and sets of the same portrait, 3 of the same portrait, earn you bonus points, and you can't ignore building towers, and you also can't ignore collecting portraits. Both of those will win you the day if you do them both well. Mm-hmm. And I love this game.
Yeah, I like it too. It's you said everything needed to be said. It's definitely one of my favorites as well.
I like it, not as much as you guys, but
you do like it.
Yeah.
So dudes like making buildings.
what can I say? I think it's a great game.
Yeah,
I love
Patrician. Great game.
My number 5 is Alvin's Legacy.
Cool to the new.
It's not a new game, though.
But it's new to you.
It's 2 years old.
But you just bought... Every game has been like you just bought a Gen Con. I'm waiting for the old games you claimed were coming.
It's next.
Sure. She's writing them in now.
Right. Anyway, this is another cooperative game where you play the Knights of the Round Table and Guinevere, and you have to go out and do quests. You have to defend Camelot from people infiltrating it. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things going on at the same time, but it doesn't feel like there's too much going on, and you get like the nice sense of it's almost overwhelming, but in a good way. Like you have to
because it challenges you.
Yeah.
You know, another theme that's going with your list, in addition to most of them being games that you just got, is that a lot of them are cooperative. This is another fully cooperative game,
which is interesting because when your RPG characters are always terribly uncooperative.
It's true. It's true. I love when she designs a character that's going to be a total team player, but she never plays them that way.
When did she design that? I don't remember that.
Well, she never actually played them that way.
That's right. You get to see the design. I always get to see the repercussions. All right. My number 5 is a brand new game.
Are you joining the cult of the new a little bit?
That's right.
You said the other one was the only brand new game.
I lied. I had to keep the suspense going.
This
is the end.
It was Century. You said was the only new.
Yeah. This is the end of the brand new games for me. I promise. Sonar has a lot of fun. We've played this with 4 players. I don't know how I would do with 3.
I don't think you can with 3.
You can. You do one person does one side and 2 people do. I think 3 would work good if 2 people were new to it and one person had played it a bunch. Because you put the one person by themselves.
Maybe. I'm less convinced. But I think for 4, this is spectacular.
Oh, no,
this
great.
game is so much fun. It takes 20 minutes to play around.
We played, and then we immediately played it a second time.
We immediately played it a second time because it was so much fun. And both teams won. We
did guys versus girls.
Yeah, and I think it's great. It's a good party game, a lot of fun. There's not too much involved in planning it or anything, but it is a lot of interaction and a lot of moving around. And it's really, really an entertaining game for sure.
It is, and I definitely very much liked this one too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was okay.
That's a raving review from it.
Review, right? Dudes like subs.
No, the subs were really cool. It definitely was. Number 4. So, for my number 4, and anyone who's seen my review of this, it's no secret how much I love this game. Terraforming Mars. So, now, I love games that help you feel a sense of accomplishment, similar with Patrician with building the towers. In Terraforming Mars, you're building cities, you're growing forests, you're filling in seas on Mars, you're making the atmosphere breathable and the temperature habitable. And you when you're done, even if you didn't win, you feel a sense of accomplishment in this game, having done all that, having terraformed Mars. And the mechanics in this game are so smooth, they fit together so well, that this is, I mean, this is just hands down my favorite of those kind of games where you're building something, any city building, any sort of those sort of like Euro style games that are like that, where you're planning and building a settlement or a city or something like that. This is my absolute favorite of that genre. It is a solid 10-star game for me.
I like that it you get a lot of cubes.
Yeah, you love all games with lots of
games with
cubes.
cubes.
You like games with lots of cube resources. The resource and imagine, and the engine building. And I know you love engine building.
It takes those two elements and does it the best.
It really does. It's so good. I love Terraforming Mars.
Yep.
My number 4 is Bill and Ted's Excellent Board Game.
Finally not a brand new game.
I love that this is on your list.
I love that it's on your list too, but I gotta tell you, because you haven't tried this
I've never played it. It seems
this game is surprisingly deep. It really is.
Like Bill and Ted themselves.
It was like on clearance, and I bought it just because it was Bill and Ted.
It wasn't on clearance. You got it at that little game convention.
Yeah, but it was only like $15.
No, that's its normal price.
Whatever.
Okay.
It was on the clearance shelf, Josh.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, my mistake.
And I mean, so I was like, well, if it sucks, it was a clearance game, but it's really good. And it's like the more players that you have, the crazier it gets.
Yeah.
And
it
gets mildly crazy with 2 people, but if you play with like 4 people, it's like your brain explodes.
Oh,
crazy.
it's insane. This becomes a super brain burning programming and set collecting game. Which is not what I was expecting at all when you got this. And then we played it and I was like, wow, there's a lot to this. And we played this a bunch. So I don't blame you. I knew you loved it. I like it. I just don't like it as much as you do, but I knew you loved it. So
I like that it exists.
you can thank was that Steve Jackson Games put that out? You can thank Steve Jackson Games.
All right. Remember, my number 4 is Patrician. The captain here already spoke so eloquently of its virtues, and he's absolutely correct. There's nothing you can say about this game that isn't great. I mean, it does everything really well. I like the 2 different methods of gathering points, and like you said, you can't focus on one and exclude the other. A lot of games you can get away with just having one strategy and running with it. You can't do that with this.
You need a balance. You really do. Yeah.
But excellent game.
I often win because of how I never neglect collecting the portraits. So, but yeah, because it can be hard to manipulate and both do the towers and the portraits. But if you can definitely run away with the score with that game.
Sure,
great game,
excellent.
Number 3. So for my number 3, now this is one. This is the newest game that I have tried that is on the list, but it is not a new game, and I've had it for a while, and I've played it half a dozen times, and that is Blood Rage. Now, this is the game that put Eric Lang's name on the map. After this game, everybody was talking about what an amazing designer it is, and looking up the other games he's designed or co-designed with other people. And I really did wonder, was all of the hype founded? And then we were at a little game convention and they had it like with a few bucks off, and I picked it up and I brought it home and we played it on our very next game night, and we played it again and we played it again, and I can't play this game enough. The hype is not overblown. This game is amazing. It is area control on crack and steroids and methamphetamines at once. It is You have ways of scoring if you kill lots of enemies, but you also have ways of scoring if they kill lots of your guys. And sometimes killing your opponent plays into their hands. And I love it. It's so cool. And it's all about the Viking Ragnarok, so, that's awesome.
It's an okay game.
That was a resounding endorsement.
It sounds like Lynn loves it.
Yeah, right.
I love that game, though.
My number 3 is Mysterium.
That's a crossover.
Yeah.
It is.
I enjoy being the ghost.
The ghostess with the mostest?
Yeah, the ghostess with the mostest. I also do like being player characters too, but I don't know. I feel like I'm more terrible when I'm a player character.
You love playing the ghost. Like you're the ghost. You've probably been the ghost in this game more than anyone else.
Yeah.
In our group, because I would hazard a guess that you've been the ghost probably in this game 15 plus times. Mm-hmm. You've been the ghost a lot when we play Mysterium. So yeah, but it's a great game. It was already on my list. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah. Our number 3, my number 3 game for 3 or 4 players is Mysterium.
And that's our first 3-way crossover on this list. And maybe our only one, we'll see.
Yeah, it might be.
But
starting from the quality of the artwork, and then the gameplay, and then the cooperative nature of it, I don't know another game that's quite like this game.
No, it's pretty... there's always comparisons made to Clue because of the deductive aspect.
Yeah, but that's it. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
This replaced Clue, I think, for me on our top 10.
It replaced Clue for all of us.
Right.
It was a 3-way crossover on our top 10 games that replaced classics.
There you go. But which you should check out.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is a really cool place.
And this just does. There's no other way to. I've never played a game quite like this, and it's not really that much like Clue. It's got some things in common, but it's way, way beyond.
No, it's amazing, and it's
fantastic
unique.
Game.
And the designers did a fantastic job, and you're right about the art. The artwork is just, they hit it out of the park with the production and the art on this one.
Yeah, they went way farther than they even had to, because they made such a great game anyway. Oh, yeah. This is that much better.
Well, there you go. Number 2. For my number 2, I have the oldest game that is on my list. An oldie, but a goodie. I got dusted off a little bit because it hasn't come out in a while, but Starfarers of Catan. Now, I want to specifically note it has not come out in a while only because it makes me sad that a lot of the components have broken. They didn't hold up very well, and there hasn't been a new edition of this in a while. But if a new edition of this came out, I would buy it and I would play the heck out of it. Because when we bought this game, we were playing this game like 2-3 times a week for a while. Mm-hmm. This is hands down my favorite version of Catan. There is no other version of Catan I like better than Starfarers of Catan. This is probably my favorite resource management game. It has some great trading elements to it too, plus the adventure elements of running into pirates and having to fight them. And this is just, in my opinion, it is a crime that this game is not in print right now. So this is my plea to you, Asmodee, who has bought the rights to Catan. Reprint this. Make a new edition of Starfarers of Catan, please.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's a lot of fun to roll your spaceship.
It is a great game. I love Starfarers of Catan.
Okay.
My number 2 is Lords of Vegas. I don't know what to say, but we've already...
Yeah, but for those who haven't watched the other videos of this show...
This is always on all our lists, at least one person.
Well, this showed up on multiple lists. I think it might have been on everyone's list when we did the top 10 games that replaced classics. Yeah. And it was because of how well it replaces Monopoly.
Right. Yeah, it gives you the same feel as Monopoly without the anger and table flipping
and frustration.
Yeah.
Right.
You're building casinos, and I think it's because you get something every turn. Every turn you get a plot of land. Whether or not you can use the plot is different, but
you don't eliminate players, and it doesn't drag on longer than it should. It plays. There's a definite end to this.
Yeah,
right.
It's definitely fun building your casinos, building them bigger and sometimes absorbing smaller casinos.
Yeah. There's no player elimination, and you can't run away with it quite as like you can with.
No, because of how it gets harder and harder to go up points the further up points you go.
Right.
So yeah, it becomes exponential.
Excellent game. Excellent game.
It is an excellent choice, no doubt.
My number 2 game for 3 or 4 players is Terraforming Mars, which we've mentioned already on this list.
It's another crossover.
This is now, so we have crossovers in our videos, and now we have crossovers amongst our videos. So
That does happen.
so you can tell the games that everyone really enjoys. This one, like the captain said, is fantastic. This actually pushes kind of my self-imposed limits of how long a game should take to play. But it's so good that I don't mind. This is a 2-hour game. It can easily go longer than that if you have more players. But it's fantastic.
I've never had a bad game of Terraforming Mars.
And it's worth it. And you, like the captain said, you're always accomplishing stuff. So even when you lose, you feel like you've gotten something done. But the other side of that is that you've worked so hard.
I want to say,
and then you lose it all. But it's great.
I want to say, I think I've only won maybe 2 games of Terraforming Mars, and I've never had a bad time playing.
No, because they're always close, and you're in it till the very end. Everybody is, because you're the way you keep score just makes it very equitable. So it's a lot of fun.
Most definitely,
right.
Most definitely a very cool game. Number 1. I'm now Khal Drogo. The ladies cannot resist me. My number 1 is Twilight Imperium,
because it's so
3rd
serious.
edition. All right, here's the thing. I got Twilight Imperium 3rd edition right when it came out. It was Lynn bought it for me as a present because I read up on what the new edition was going to be like. And I was like, oh my God, this is everything I've always wanted in a game in one place. And she bought it for me, and we got it, and we played it a handful of times. And at the time, I was kind of like, felt like it was very, very good, but it didn't live up to the hype. And then the expansions came out. And the expansions fixed the only problems. And they weren't really even big problems, but the problems I had with this and turned it into, for me, what is my perfect game. The biggest problem I had was that the game seemed to encourage a Cold War mentality, and there was very little actual battle. But the changing of the Imperial card to the Imperial card that came in the first of the 2 expansions, causing you to need to capture Mechatol Rex to get victory points, suddenly there was a reason to fight each other. And it's still not over, it's still not taken over by combat, but it was enough combat then that combat was a worthwhile way to possibly win. And this game is amazing. This with its expansions. Twilight Imperium 3rd edition by itself for me was a 9-star game. Twilight Imperium with both expansions in it, I wish that I could go higher than 10 stars because it's that amazing, and I can't wait for 4th edition, which is coming out this year, and I'm definitely going to be doing lots of videos on it.
Are you done?
We all knew this was going to be his number 1.
You done, squeeing over?
Squeeing. Have you squeed?
Squeak! I do like this game too. I especially like being the necrovirus.
Yeah, you love being the necrovirus.
Yeah.
This is your favorite. You know what? No.
He made a rule that we can never be the same race two games in a row. So
well, that's just because you were always the necrovirus.
I have to be necrovirus and something else. Then necrovirus and something else.
Well, because there was a period of time where we were playing this game after both expansions came out. There was a period of time that we were playing this about once every 2 weeks, and you kept picking the necrovirus. That's why we had to house
they're
roll.
Awesome.
Because she likes the cooperative nature.
I had to go and say hi to you on your spaceship.
You mean eat some of our spaceships so you can steal our technologies?
Yes.
Oh, you're so evil.
My number 1 is World Without End. It is a worker placement game.
Not really. It's part worker placement.
Part worker placement.
It's a giant point salad. This is a giant Euro heaven point salad.
It's the Euroist of Euro games. And I love it. And it's based on a book, which also has a mini series. Never read the book, but the mini series is pretty good. I'm not really into reading historical fiction, but I'll watch historical fiction.
You definitely like Euro games way better than like Ameritrash games, and this is the ultimate Euro game in my opinion.
I love Euro games, and since this is the Euroist of the Euro games, it's my
like every mechanic that people think of as being in Euro games is in here. They're like, hey, what about this one? Oh, put it in. What about that one? Put it in.
There's a rondel.
There's a rondel. There's worker placement. There's resource management. Oh my god.
Card hand management.
It's insane. Yeah. It's all in there. It's
everything.
All in there. And the bubonic plague.
Yes, there's also the plague.
Sounds like the game without end.
It goes on. It's not. It doesn't go on forever. Actually,
no. There's a definite.
There's a definite. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a heavyweight game.
There's only 4 rounds.
I would say actually weight wise, I would almost equate that with Twilight Imperium on the Euro side of things for how heavy that game is because there's so much going on.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't last as long.
Unlike my number 1 game, Lords of Vegas, which. You didn't pick this in your top 10.
There's a crossover for the two of you on this list.
We've had 2 crossovers now on this, and
there's been a lot of crossovers on our list for the top 10 3 and 4 player games.
Everything that was said before is still true, and I love this game because it is not very much like a Euro game out there.
No, this is
no. It was a joke.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say this is kind of Euro.
Yeah, it does.
Even though the theme is very American.
Yeah, it's like area control plus resource management plus everything you could think of. Mm-hmm. And it does
plus city building.
And you get to fight over property and take each other out, and you can cooperate or you can hostile takeover, and you can do all the fun things that you would want to do if you were building Las Vegas from scratch. So my number 1 game for 3 to 4 players is Lords of Vegas, and anyone can play this without very much in the way of setup or explanation, and then you are into it for a great time.
Yeah, it's easy to play. Definitely easy to play, easy to teach. And you know what? You guys, this was on both your lists. This one didn't miss my list by all that much. It was one that I considered.
In the top 20?
Probably in the top 20. Yeah, that was definitely, because that is a really good game.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That is all of our lists for our top 10 favorite games for 3 or 4 players. Mainly because games that are usually good for 3 players are also good for 4 players. Mm-hmm. That's why we don't need really 2 separate lists for that. But there you have it. So do you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this video or on our individual lists? Feel free to put them in the comments down below. In the comments down below, also tell us, what are your favorite games to play when you have 3 or 4 players looking to play a board game? And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see us do more top 10s like it, be sure to like this video, share this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And be sure to click that little bell icon on my channel so that you will get notifications whenever I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.